Okay, first things first, let's connect with Storymaps. Storymaps are a feature that Esri has built as a data communication, science communication tool. They're basically websites that are visually driven and interface somewhat effortlessly with ArcGIS Online. What I did here is just Googled Storymaps Gallery, and it brings you to a page with a whole bunch of beautiful examples of how story maps can be used to communicate science and other important aspects of your analysis. You'll notice that there are stories, collections, and briefings. And what I'm going to show you are just the stories themselves. This first one is called Lines That Shape Our Cities. And what I want you to notice is the balance between visuals, whether it's images or maps, and the text that accompanies. And the way text is used to pull your audience in, not just serve as a caption. So in this first set of slides, this is called a sidecar. And right away, they're engaging us. Picture it. You're out for a walk. What do you see? And there's this map floating in the background. And the story map builder is focusing on our eye on one shape. We don't know if it's a park or if it's a neighborhood or what it is, but the text is kept very brief. So a fictional city of Springfield. Here, city assessors are using words like trees, shade, woods, golf club, and they've incorporated a word map to tell that story in other ways. Now we're adding red, which is a really engaging color. It's alarming, and they've used it wisely. A few blocks away, they're using terms like dump, highway, industry to describe this neighborhood. So we're starting small. We've connected our audience with one small place, described it, and now we're going to kind of zoom out geographically. So we're spreading now to the whole city. And you can see that these are different neighborhoods that are mapped and using kind of words cleverly to describe them, not just static labels. Please note that these projects are massive. They're not at all related to the scale of story maps that you'll be building for the Intro GIS class, Advanced GIS class, or data visualization, but they are, I think, very inspiring examples. So here we're just using static images and interactive maps. So your audience can zoom in and play around with these maps, which is also engaging. The other thing I wanted to show you is this here. As we scroll down the screen, the text boxes or sidecars pan, and every time a new one appears, the image behind it updates. Now, here they're using color right with the words to serve as a legend, which is pretty clever. And as we move to the next sidecar, the image automatically pans in to an example of what they're talking about here, a cool area. And then we're going to pan over to a warm spot, which again didn't work very well because my computer's running slowly. There are features like sliders that can show either before and after or overlays so that you can inspect the ground underneath without it being obscured by the layer above. There are slideshows that you can incorporate. Again, another interactive map against a static image. So these are just some of the features. This looks like an embedded video. This one's called Digging Up Dinosaurs. So this one has an example of a guided tour. And if we scroll down here, there's kind of an overall legend, but you can see these are hyperlinks. And as we click on each one of them, the map automatically pins to a location on a map that the creator has set up. And then this is a description of this location, and in this case, this dinosaur. But as we then continue to scan or scroll through here, the map automatically updates to the pins that are associated with each one of these descriptors on the left. We can go back to our overview and skip around. It also works to click on the map and then the sidecar on the left updates. So that's what a guided tour is called. And then this one, because the eclipse just happened, again using the sidecar navigation, where we've got a panel that's scrolling as I scroll down the page. And in these sidecars, you can include text and images. And as those appear on the map, the background image is supposed to be updating, but it got a little bit frozen there. But there was a nice transition that you could see as it moved to a new topic. The background map is automatically changing. So how do we get started? If you Google ArcGIS Online, you have an account through Utah State University. ArcGIS Online, what you're looking for is a sign-in, and that'll bring you to the sign-in page. You're going to use your USU credentials that you set up when you initially joined the ArcGIS Online group for Utah State University. Once you sign in, you'll be taken to a landing page that's the same for everyone that's part of Utah State University's ArcGIS license. And up here, you'll see there's the gallery. You've got maps, scenes, groups, content, and organization. Content is where you're going to find all of your stuff that you have built or uploaded to ArcGIS Online. But you might first want to explore the different apps that are available to you. You'll see that there's an app studio. We have ArcGIS Online, which is just a web-based mapping platform. Storymaps is what we're going to be using for this part of the semester. And then you can scroll through here and see field maps is a fun one to play around with. The Living Atlas. Anyway, there you go. So ArcGIS Storymaps, if we click on that app, we can create a new story, and it's going to include all the stories that you've built will be organized here. So if I create a new story, it's giving me the option to quick start and have my whole story map kind of be set up in that sidecar option, or using a guided map. I like to start from scratch because it gives me the most flexibility. When you do that, you'll see you kind of get a template set up. So this is just directly editable. And then this plus sign right here is where the magic starts. When you click that, it gives you all the different options of things that you can just insert into your story map. So you might want to start with a text block. Allows me to just type in text. You can embed maps. So if you click on the map, it's going to take you back to your contents. And these are the maps that you will have created. And I'll show you how to do that in the next section. Going back to our story map, you can insert images. You can insert an image gallery, and you can see there's different templates for how to lay those out. Audio, video, hyperlinks. Remember the examples I showed you. Sometimes there was text with an interactive map or maybe a static image, and then it moved into a sidecar section. So that's how you would do that here. You could insert a sidecar, and then notice that it gives you different options. You can have your sidecar docked as a navigation panel on the left, or the examples I showed you were floating. The slideshow is okay, but it's not the most efficient navigation because this is hard to detect, and so most often your audience keeps scrolling down instead of stopping and clicking kind of horizontally or laterally. But it's just that simple. Now you can see in here we have this new background, and the sidecars are here. Here's the options for them, and I can add text in here and an image behind it, right? And I can either browse from my computer, or I can go to anything that I've uploaded to ArcGIS Online. So browsing allows me to go basically back to my files, and then it's going to import everything into the story map for me. When I add new sidecars, they come in down here. So just using the plus, and then I can rearrange these if I want to tell my story in a different order. And so as I scroll here, you can see the text that I just typed in there, and then different text that I type in here. Hopefully you can see how quickly this updates. There are little buttons that allow you to change the appearance, like you can have it float over a transparent background or have a semi-transparent dark fill with a shadow, I guess is what they call it, the horizontal position, and the size. Let's move into ArcGIS Pro and figure out how to get our data or our maps into ArcGIS Online so that we can access them in our story maps. Here I've got a temporary project set up in ArcGIS Pro. I've got a layer that includes Bigfoot sightings in North America, and I've isolated the states of Wisconsin and Minnesota. What I would probably recommend is creating a layout that has proportions similar to your standard computer screen. So if we go back to this is my story map here, you can see that the layout is going to be wider than it is tall, and that's going to be pretty traditional. So I would just start by laying out my images that way. Now, like I said, you can embed interactive maps into your story map, or you can put the static images behind. And one way to get around doing that might be to set up your layout. And then let's say we want to introduce our story saying we're going to focus on these 2 states in the Midwest. I'm sort of setting this up right now, assuming that my sidecar is going to scroll over here. And that's why I've made Minnesota and Wisconsin slightly off center. So what I might do is use my snipping tool and carefully grabbing exactly the corners so that all these, if I want them to overlay smoothly, are the exact same size. And now if I turn on my Bigfoot points, I can grab another screenshot and call this one, I don't know, map 2 or something. I didn't do a very good job of getting that exact, so do a better job than I did. And that way you're setting up the opportunity to have that kind of animation happening behind your sidecar. So that would be one way, is just to grab static images that you can use. Now, another thing that you might want to do is to create some kind of a map that you could bring in. And so to do that, I would say get your data set up the way you want it to be. I've created a unique symbology here where I'm using an image instead of a point symbol to map my locations. If we go up to the share button, you'll see you can share as a web map or as a web layer. And I want to have both these layers in a web map. So I'm going to go ahead and share this as a web map, which takes everything that I've got in my contents pane, and it's going to compress it into a web map format. Okay, so here's the tool that we need to set up. First thing I would do is I would recommend giving this a unique name, because otherwise you'll have, 14 maps and you'll get an error saying, oh, you've already got 18 files called map. So let's just give it something a little bit better. Summary, as many of you know, this is very helpful for you to keep track of things. So I might call this my Sasquatch research map. Basically, the tags are search terms that somebody in the organization might use to find this. So if this is a map that you're going to be sharing with Utah State University or a network of other users or people in your lab, use tags that those people might use as search terms to help find your product. I leave the configuration, the folder. Yes, of course, I want to make sure I know where I'm saving this. Notice that it takes you to your contents. This is on ArcGIS Online. So you're going to just want to have a folder set aside for whatever you're uploading. Here's where you can choose to share it with everyone in the world who's on ArcGIS Online, or just your cohort at Utah State University, or you can create your own new group. But here's the key. You have to analyze first. And what it's going to do, it's going to let you know if there are issues with your data. These are 2 of the most common errors that you're going to come across. To solve this one, it's error 00374, unique numeric IDs are not assigned. My first thought was, really? So I went into the attribute table and saw that there are unique IDs. The FID is a unique code, but it doesn't want to recognize those. So I tried right-clicking, and I found something that said auto-assign IDs sequentially, and I decided to try it. Now, not knowing if that's going to mess up my data, I went ahead and Googled ArcGIS Online, ArcGIS Pro, error 00374, and it turns out that's the recommendation. Now, this one says, let me expand this, error 230, the service layer has a different projection than the map's projection. The first couple of times that I saw this, I was like, oh man, oh crud, what am I going to do about that? And I kind of panicked, and I just went and tried another way to share my data. But when I finally stopped and read this is not a big deal. The service layer, that's the base map. Those are the streaming layers that are coming in from Esri. They have a different projection than the map's projection. I don't need to change the projections or coordinate systems of my map layers. It's the map itself. So what do we know about the coordinate system for the base maps? They are in a projected coordinate system the Web Mercator Auxiliary Sphere, which I have warned everybody is a terrible coordinate system to use if you're going to be making area or length calculations. But for interactive maps, it's brilliant because no matter where you pan or zoom, north is always preserved up and the local scale is correct. So what I should do is check to see what coordinate system my map is in. And if I do that, we can see that it's in the North American Datum in UTM Zone 15. And so what I need to do is just change my map display to match the base maps. That's what that error is basically telling me. Maybe it's associated with my layers. Oh, yep, there it is. So all my layers in my map are in different coordinate systems, and that's fine. It just needs the display to match the base maps. And so if I click that, this error should clear itself up. As it doesn't, just hit the Analyze button again. And hopefully we'll see that no errors have been found. Now we can go ahead and share. So again, those are the two most common errors. If you get errors, don't panic. Either try to write or to click on the error to see if you get more information, or Google ArcGIS Pro error and then include the error number. 9 out of 10 times you'll get enough information that you can solve those issues and clear them up so that you can share. And you can see it's busy kind of publishing and compressing the map. And eventually my web map was shared successfully. You can see right below there's a little hyperlink where I can manage the web map. Click on that and it's going to take you into ArcGIS Online, into your account, and you're going to see your contents pane. Actually, you'll probably just see the map. Yeah, the map page. So here's the map that I just brought in, and here are the options of what I can do with it. You could see when I hovered over here, I can open it in a map viewer just to test to make sure that my symbology and everything I wanted to came in correctly. I could open it in ArcGIS Desktop, which is where I just had it. Let's go ahead and take a look at it, make sure everything loaded correctly. Yep, looks great. So right now we're in ArcGIS Online in the kind of interactive web platform. So I can pan and zoom around and interact with this. Go up here to go to my home, gallery, scene, groups, content. So I can navigate directly back to my contents section. And then I can organize this. If I just want to see my maps, I can sort it this way. And here's that Bigfoot map that I just brought in. Or I can just take a look at my layers. Let's go back into our web map and see if we can practice embedding an interactive map that we just created from ArcGIS Pro. So I'm going to continue my story. We're going to skip past the sidecar, and I'm going to add a new feature. Let's try adding a map. Notice that I can create a new express map. So if I wanted to just do this on the fly, I could. But look, here's my Bigfoot map that I just imported. And it's as simple as just clicking on that. Okay, so here's where I can adjust the map's appearance. Maybe I change the scale, the original scale that we're viewing it at. I can probably do some, maybe just turning the visibility on and off. Not very exciting. But what do we have in settings? Allow map navigation. We could turn that off. We could allow for searching. So once you've got your map dialed in the way you want it to be, hit save, and you'll see that it populates it into your story map. So here's the sidecar, and now here's our map, and it automatically gives us the ability to edit it. We can have it small, medium, and large. We could have it floating on the right with the ability to add text on the left, or flip that the other way around. Have the map on the left and text on the right. That's how easy adding an interactive map is into the story map. It's, basically when you bring your stuff out of ArcGIS Pro, you can create your maps here, or you can create the express maps right in Storymaps. That's enough to get you started here and make you, dangerous. There are different, just so you know, different themes, like we can change it and make it dark. We can make it title. There are some other themes that you can search for here. Let's see here. The cover is just the first thing that you see when you bring it in. You can embed videos back here. Yeah. And then everything is adjustable. Anyway, I hope you have a lot of fun with this project. Story maps are a great way to get out of the analysis mindset and get into a kind of a creative mindset of visually engaging your audience with your data.